Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining today's press conference. My name is Claudia from Malaya, USA. I will be one of the MCs for the press conference. And one of the Negros 19, Kai Sorum, was actually a close and dear friend of mine that I had the honor of knowing for the last several years here in Washington State. So it is an honor to be here to join the call for justice for Kai and the rest of the Negros 19.
Good morning. I'm Alex with the International Coalition for Human Rights in the Philippines, or ICHIRP. I'm your other MC for today. I worked with Lyle here in the San Francisco Bay Area to help grow iChirp, and Lyle was my friend and a gentle leader and role model to myself and many of my colleagues. So thank you for being here today to hear about what happened in Negros and the broader situation of human rights violations in the Philippines. So for our press conference today, first we'll start with some context and a welcome, and then we will hear from our speakers. Following that, we will move into a Q&A period, and then we will close out with some calls to action and next steps. For our speakers today, we'll first be hearing from Brandon Lee from iChirp US, then Marianne, the wife of Lyle Prijoles. Then we'll be hearing from PJ, the sibling of Kai Saram. Then we will be hearing from Tabs, Gabriel of Malaya Movement USA, and Joel Manguera of Bayan USA.
Thank you, Alex. And before we go ahead and hear from our speakers, I want to share a bit of context. So on April 19th and 20th, the 79th Infantry Battalion of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP for short, conducted indiscriminate firing and strafing in Barangay Salamanca, Toboso, Negros Occidental, killing 19 and displacing over 600 residents. The casualties included 2 students, a journalist, peasant community advocates, 2 minors, and 2 U.S. citizens, like we mentioned, Lyle Prijoles and Kai Sorum. The AFP and the Philippine National Police have a severe documented record of human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings and targeting of civilians and non-combatants. The massacre in Negros has resulted in international outcry and furthered the calls from grassroots and human rights organizations that Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. should not be awarded a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council. And so before we continue on, I believe Alex will also go into some reminders for our press.
Just a reminder, please add press and the name of your outlet to your Zoom name. And please send your contact information and questions to our media liaison, who is who who is helping with that on the
That's me. I renamed myself to questions.
Okay, there are questions in the participants. And just a reminder, this is being live streamed and recorded at tinyurl/Malaya Live on Facebook. And for inquiries, you can contact Bayan USA at proton.me or 503-867-8380. I'll pass it to Claudia to introduce our first speaker.
Thank you again, Alex. So yeah, to start us off, we will be hearing from Brandon Lee, chairperson of iChirp US, close friend of Lyle, and a survivor of attempted extrajudicial killings by the armed forces of the Philippines.
Thank you, Claudia. Today is Lyle's favorite day, Star Wars Day. He was a huge fan. He was a great friend, and he loved the story of how different people came together to take down the Empire and to put an end to tyranny. I met Lyle at San Francisco State University in 2004 after taking an Asian American Studies class with him. He invited me to the League of Filipino Students, or LFS, a fundraiser for the Balik Sambayanan, which translates to Return to Our Homeland. At the end of the semester, he invited me to a report back of what students learned from that immersion trip. After that, I asked Lyle if I could join LFS, the which was known to be an anti-war organization on campus. After long meetings, we would play basketball or play video games if it was late. Lyle was always responsible person wherever we go to parties or clubs. He would be the designated driver. That's Lyle. In LFS, even when he was the chair, there was no task too small. He would do it. You can always depend on him. His journalism and Asian American studies major demanded him to go to communities to learn from the people. He chose the Philippines. He invited me to join him in the summer of 2007. We learned about the Nestle workers, how they were making poverty wages, and when they picketed, hired goons killed their labor union leader. We also visited Balbalan Kalinga, an indigenous population where we got to learn the struggles they were facing. They face development aggression projects like mining and dams and militarization, which is eerily similar to Negros. It was this immersion trip that Lyle and I committed ourselves to serving the Filipino people. While I moved to Ifugao in 2010, Lyle helped grow the youth and student movement here in the United States and eventually the solidarity movement for human rights and genuine peace based on justice through iChirp US. Lyle was an integral part of building and guiding iChirp. He applied his experience and depth of knowledge from developing Anakbayan to growing iChirp US. He was crucial in so many aspects of iChirp, like in the Philippines, Human Rights Act campaign, which were cut military aid to the Philippines until human rights perpetrators are held accountable. He also helped major undertakings like our General Assemblies in 2024 and 2025, which contributed to the strengthening of iChirp US as a whole. He provided education and strong perspective on solidarity that helped deepen iChirp members' knowledge. What brought our Lyle home to Negros, to the Philippines, is his love for his people, for the Philippines. Lyle and I suffer state violence from the same armed forces of the Philippines. I was red tagged, given death threats, harassed, tailed, like so many activists in the Philippines. The state forces tried to silence me permanently. The AFP is tarnishing Lyle and the other civilian massacred reputation through lies. I know this because they called me a MPA rebel too before they shot me 4 times. I also want to question the NTF LCAC, or the name itself is the National Task Force to End Local Communists and Armed Conflict, that retired PB General Eric Noble red tagged myself and San Francisco State, the university that Lyle and I attended, as a breeding ground for the MPA rebels in 2020. The military and the NTF LCAC can only bark and try to smear the community as they stand up to their fascist attacks and lies. They attack us because they are on the side of the big businessmen and foreign companies who plunder the wealth of the land and the Filipino people. They attack Lyle because all his life he stood with the oppressed against these attacks. ICHRP also calls the US government to stop sending military aid to the armed forces of the Philippines, who are human rights violators. The United States is complicit in a war by continuing to send military aid to the armed forces of the Philippines. The people of the US have far more in common with the poor people of Negros, and Lyle's contribution to building the solidarity movement are testaments to our shared fight for justice and liberation. Justice for Lyle, justice for Kai, justice for the Negros 19. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for sharing about your friendship with Lyle and his selfless commitment to helping Filipinos both here and in the Philippines. Next, we have Mary Ann, the wife of Lyle Prijoles, who is calling in from the Philippines and fighting for justice for the Negros 19.
Thank you. Again, my name is Mary Ann. I am the wife of Lyle Prijoles. As many of you have already heard, Lyle was killed by the AFP on April 19th in Toboso's Negros, along with 18 others. Since then, the AFP has named him a terrorist and a rebel. The trolls have called him corned beef. Even the US Embassy has released a security notice that has practically red tagged him and others. And I'm here to speak on what he can no longer say because the AFP killed him. Lyle was kind-hearted, a fan of history and Star Wars, a caring uncle, a loving son, a thoughtful brother, and a thoughtful and devoted husband. But I knew that I shared his love with something much more greater than us, his love for the Filipino masses, his love for his community, and although he played more of a behind-the-scenes role, he was always present for the communities he was a part of. He went back to the homeland to learn more and to serve the people of Negros. He died doing what he did best and what he loved, being with the masses in Negros and learning from them. His death should signal to others the need to take action, just like he did. I do not believe the AFP or police, because how can I believe the very entities that murdered my husband? How can the AFP claim victory when 19 people were killed and with no explanations to the families or loved ones? There are clear violations of human rights, clear violations of international humanitarian law that I believe must be brought to justice. My husband, my love, was killed along with Errol, Maureen, Alyssa, RJ, and Kai by the AFP murderers. And because of this, I am committed to fighting for a more just society and to fight for justice for the Toboso 19.
Thank you, Marianne, for that beautiful account of your husband and his true character. We will now hear from PJ, sibling of Kai Sorum and a member of the Gabriela Seattle chapter.
My name is PJ. I use they, them, or any respectful pronouns. I am Kai's only and younger sibling, and I'm a member of Gabriela Seattle, an organization supporting the rights and welfare of Filipino women and the LGBTQ+ community in Seattle through advocating for national democracy and liberation in the Philippines. We work to help meet the basic needs of Filipinos in Seattle while also addressing the root causes of why these issues occur. Kai was my best friend. Truly someone I could go to for anything. whether it was making cheesecake at 2 in the morning or asking for help jumping hard. She was always an ear to talk to. I have so many fond memories of her. I feel like I could go on forever. These are the things I think about every day. She helped so many people. She helped those in need, those in the Seattle area who struggled to balance their need to work with their want to be with their family. She helped educate those on their rights while also offering them rides to their job. She helped me with my music homework. And she loved more than anything coming to the Philippines to help others. She helped those who had very little financially, peasant farmers who struggled to feed their families. She helped them till their land, and she learned from their life stories. She went to the Philippines last summer to immerse herself with these struggling peasants. And then she came home to the Seattle area to share their stories. She shared their stories and dared not to pity them, but to instead ask, what can we do to help? It pains me now to see articles and news and media from those who did not know her at all. Those who read her name in the paper and don't know the love that she possessed in her heart. And that's what matters to me. That's what matters most to me. At the same time I'm grieving, I also understand it is necessary to call for justice for her, justice for Kai, justice for Lyle, justice for the Negros 19, because in the end, they're humans. That's what they all were, humans, not corned beef. They were people loved by thousands. So we must call for justice. We must call for justice and address the root causes of the Philippine people's struggle. And I know this is what Kai wanted. And I know in my heart that's what she believed until her very last breath. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PJ, for sharing your beautiful memories of Kai and your love for her, as well as her love that led her to help those in need. Next, we will hear from Tabs Gabriel, the chairperson of Malaya USA.
Thank you so much, Alex and Claudia, for being our MCs today. And thank you so much to Brandon, Mary Ann, and PJ for sharing your stories today. I am Tabs, the current chairperson of Malaya Movement USA. We are a grassroots human rights organization of Filipinos in the diaspora, founded during Duterte's drug war and continues through the Marcos regime. I personally knew two of the victims of this massacre, Lyle, who I met here in the United States, and RJ Ledesma, who I met in Negros in 2024 on an immersion trip. And I've spent the last week alongside community members and Malaya members from across the country processing this horrific event. We condemn the violent massacre of the Negros 19 and mourn the losses alongside the family and friends of the victims. This genuine mourning and grief is in contrast to the disingenuous messages that the AFP and the NTF-LCAC have been spouting. They say they mourn the loss of lives of Filipinos at the hands of Filipinos, but they were the ones that committed the killings in the first place. The Negros 19 were victims of violations of international humanitarian law, war crimes that the Marcos regime has been committing on Negros Island and all throughout the archipelago, including Mindoro at the beginning of the year. Several principles the regime willfully committed based on initial analysis of lawyers on the ground are proportionality of force used, the principles of distinction between civilians and combatants, and military targets and civilian objects. These violations of these principles of international humanitarian law show the fascist repression and fascist violence that the state is willing to go to to criminalize their targets. On the matter of proportionality, the number of deaths and the gravity of wounds, based on initial findings from autopsies, show excessive use of force that resulted in the death of the 19, including students, 2 minors, and journalists. There's also been conflicting accounts straight from the AFP, which has changed its accounts of the operations multiple times since it became public, from 8 encounter sites to just 2 that included a pursuit. But this brings the question as to why they also claim to have found all remains in just 1 site. There are also accounts that those they killed were fleeing, meaning that they no longer posed an imminent threat. All these should bring into question their story and their narrative. The AFP even conducted their own fact-finding mission, led by the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflicts organization, Buklod Kapayapaan, individuals that claim to have been surrendered fighters. What they don't admit is the fact that these individuals also stand to benefit materially and monetarily from counterinsurgency programs by the state, effectively forcing their hand to parrot state falsehoods in exchange for money. This is not independent nor impartial. All of this has happened in the days leading up to the UN Security Council vote, where Marcos has been vying for a seat since 2022. It is a slap in the face of the victims of the Negros massacre and the thousands more that the Marcos regime has terrorized since he took office. There is no place where a fascist like Marcos, the #1 security threat to the Filipino people, on a global platform like the United Nations Security Council, that states its mission is to promote peace and stability and defend human rights. We join the thousands of people from all over the world who have declared their commitment to fight for justice for the Negros 19. We demand an independent investigation and call for accountability. The Marcos regime must uphold international humanitarian law and show respect for human rights. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Tabs. To close us off, we have Joel Manguera with Bayan USA.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, as said, I'm with Bayan USA, or Bagong Aliansang Makabayan, or the New Patriotic Alliance, the US chapter. And across the country, we in Bayan USA are mourning the murder of Lyle and Kai and the Negros 19. And we send our deep condolences to you and the families, Marianne and PJ. We want you to know that we are with you in this fight because it is plain to see, that the Marcos administration is lying left and right. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, the NTF-LCAC, and other institutions involved in the government's counterinsurgency program, they're all unreliable sources of information. And they have a long history of lying about the violations of human rights and international humanitarian law they have committed to evade accountability from their crimes. We can look back into 2023 when 2 environmental activists, Jed Tamano and Janila Castro, were abducted by the military and were presented by the AFP as rebels in a press conference. They courageously exposed the torture and psychological warfare they experienced at the hands of the military at the very press conference, and were subsequently freed. And also in Negros itself, the Philippine government has proven track record of massacring innocent civilians. The infamous Escalante massacre in 1985 that killed 20 farmers, the Sagay massacre in 2018 that killed 9 farmers, the Gihulian massacre in 2018 that killed 6 farmers, the murder of the entire Fausto family, including their 12-year-old and 15-year-old child in 2023, and now the Negros 19, right? And as Tabs of Malay USA said earlier, even for the April 19th massacre, the AFP's narrative has changed over and over again, from the different encounter sites, the fleeing, and then also on April 21 with the various reports that they claimed that they had different items found on them at these encounter sites, whether from 1 rifle to 9 rifles to now 24 rifles. So the truth of the matter is that the AFP did not distinguish between armed combatants, local residents, community workers, journalists, when they indiscriminately fired upon Duboso. And so they have painted all 19 as criminals and terrorists. And this is the truth, right? They are not a reliable source of information. And the Philippine government would rather permanently silent peasant communities who speak out against poverty and hunger rather than meet their basic needs. And the 29% poverty rate and less than 20% of land actually owned by tillers. It is no wonder why farmers in Negros continue to protest and why Filipinos across the archipelago and even overseas choose to learn, live, and be one with them in their struggle. We know the US government is directing and funding the Philippines military's fascist counterinsurgency program. The US Embassy in the Philippines made this very clear as days after releasing a quote unquote security alert, doubling down on the NTF's false narrative even before independent investigation and autopsies have been concluded. 2 citizens were murdered in cold blood, and the embassy's first response is to practically label them as terrorists. This massacre also happened on the eve of the US Philippines joint Balikatan war exercises. And we know that the US does not just practice joint military drills for external threats like China, but also to train the AFP to turn their guns against the Filipino people. To the Marcos government and its US backers, let us remind you this. The truth will always be louder than your lies. Across the Philippines and across the US, thousands are defending Lyle, Kai, and the Negros 19 as good people, as people beloved by their communities, as people who have dedicated their entire lives to the service of the Filipino people. And the military, they can never take this truth away from the Negros 19. And it can never take this truth away from us. So we join Malaya USA, the family of Negros 19, and the families of loved ones and all victims of the state violence in protesting the Marcos administration's bid for a non-permanency in the United Nations Security Council. Let these senseless killings and deep-seated poverty and hunger that continue to this day in Negros remind us that the Marcos government and its US backers are the #1 security threat to the Filipino people in the Philippines. Justice for the Negros 19 and justice for all victims of state terror. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel, and to all of our speakers. We will now move into our Q&A portion. Just a reminder, if you have questions, please send them to the person named questions in the chat, and we will compile them. Our first question is from Kelly Kimball. Another question about the journalists killed by the AFP. Who were the journalists killed, and what publications were they reporting for? What were they attempting to cover? I'll open it up for answers from our speakers.
Hello. Sorry, fixing audio. Yes, so RJ Ledesma was a writer and editor of the Paghimutad Negros, and the regional coordinator of Utter Media, which is a progressive group of news outlets throughout the Philippines. But he was the regional coordinator of Utter Media on Negros Island. He was really in the area doing community work and immersion, reporting on the effects of renewable energy projects, including solar farms, expansion windmill projects on vulnerable farmer communities. He really was there to report on the experiences of peasant farmers and the most marginalized communities in Negros.
Thank you, Tabs. We have a second question that asks, can we get a list of similar historical events where this happened? For example, in Escalante 2018.
Just asking particularly for like a documented list of this, what I mentioned earlier. Yes, we can definitely send that in a media kit afterwards. But yeah, just noting the different lists of I mentioned a couple of different massacres that happened, but we can definitely send a list of those as well. But like I said earlier, it was the Escalante massacre in 1985, the Sagay massacre in 2018, the Gihulian massacre in 2018, and the Fasta family that was killed in 2023. All happening in Negros. But yeah, we can definitely send that over.
Our next question is, I have a question about the lawyers on the ground that were conducting an assessment of the situation mentioned by Tabs Gabriel. Can we get a bit more information on what they were assessing, and as lawyers, who were they representing?
Thank you. I can start, and maybe those in the Philippines who are there on the ground can share a little bit more. The lawyers were basing their initial assessments on some initial autopsies that the findings should be released very soon. And they do represent the families of the victims of Kai and Lyle on the ground in the Philippines, but also of the other victims there. They're from people's organizations in the People's Lawyers organizations in the Philippines from the National Union of People's Lawyers. And we can forward the press conference that was held a few days ago in the Philippines, as well as the once the autopsy reports are released in the next week, we can also share that with you all.
Thank you, Tabs. Our next question asks, what problems in Negros Occidental were the local population facing that the civilian activists were investigating?
I can also share, and then maybe again others can plug in. I was actually in Negros in 2024, as I mentioned. That's where I met RJ Ledesma, and was able to visit not only people's organizations in the main city of Bacolod and meet different organizers and activists who have faced state repression, but also spent time on a hacienda in Silay, Negros, not too far from Bacolod. And on the hacienda, the problems of the people were really stark. It really starts from the fact that the peasant farmers, the workers on these haciendas are facing really, really low poverty wages. Most of the average wage for a peasant farmer is anywhere between 200 to 300 pesos per day. That's about $5, less than $5 a day, to be able to feed, families of 4 or 5, up to 10 people in one household. And so often they work back-breaking work, tilling the farms of sugarcane, and they are compensated very little for that. And what the stories I was told, the experiences and lessons that I saw showed that the people of Negros really had to decide every day how many meals that they were going to eat, what bills they were going to pay. And there was, often a decision made whether or not they would send their children to school, because school costs money, transport to school costs money, and they couldn't afford that. And all of this is because of desire of the big landlords within Negros Island to continue to exploit the peasant farmers for their labor, and essentially force them into these cycles of poverty and tie them to the land where they basically have to work to live on the land. And so, for that, many of the peasant farmers are finding ways to resist and claim back their lands. But for this also, they face repression that we've been able to, that is an example that this Negros massacre is what we're seeing.
Thank you. Our next question is there a connection between the Marcos visit to the UN and what happened to the Negros 19 that was briefly mentioned? Can you explain that connection more, if so?
Yeah, I can start, and then if anyone else wants to add. And so Marcos, he is trying to bid for this seat, which this campaigning budget right now is coming up to 20 million pesos, I believe. And it's costing a lot of the Filipino people's money to be going into this budget. And what is actually the UN Security Council, right? It's the voting of the matters relating to war. It's voting on the matters of human rights and peace and security. And so this very much has to do with a relationship with this. As I mentioned earlier, the Balikatan war exercises were happening in the opening ceremony was on the eve of this massacre in relation to the US and the Philippines building their relationship, right? Building up their efforts for relating relations in war in the Southeast Asia. And so Marcos is very much trying to get a seat to this. And the reality is that we see that there are going to be more attacks on the Filipino people in the Philippines, and this is what we're very concerned of, right? If he's going to be uh, allowed to be on the seat, he is actually going to, one, support more of the US's attacks in the Middle East. He's going to allow for more of the different threats that will happen that will put the Filipino people into the crosshairs of war in our home country. And so, like I said earlier, the Marcos government and the US that backs the Marcos government is really the number one security threat of the Filipino people and the Philippines. And this is the relationship that we're seeing with this massacre that happened, and also with Marcos attacking, or Marcos bidding for this seat.
Awesome. Thank you, Joel. We don't have any further questions lined up, but I wanted to give another minute or two for press to send any last minute questions via the direct message to questions. So I'll just give a moment. Any lingering remaining?
I mean, the main thing I really think that as Brian Yossi that we want to share later is really some of the things that we'll be taking up in this week. And I believe our MCs will be talking more about that later as well. But I think that's one of the things that we really want to express is why we're here in New York, why we're continuing to expose the Marcos government in the ways that they are putting our Filipino people in threat of violence, whether that is through here, allowing for more of the overseas Filipinos being impacted by uh, the uh, the system of allowing for more export of our people, or the direct attacks of the killings of like Filipino-Americans in the Philippines through his counterinsurgency program. But like I said earlier, I believe our MCs will actually cover that more in detail.
Yes, thank you so much. We did have an additional question roll in. So folks are wondering, are we seeing parallels between Marcos Sr.'s actions in Negros and the relations with the US, and now with the current president, his son, Bongbong Marcos Jr.?
Yes. I don't know if others want to share. I know I've been taking some time. But yes, I mean, I think a, a a key part of Marcos Jr.'s legacy is really upholding his father's own legacy of violence and repression. And given that Negros has been the site of uh, a lot of wealth, right, in the form of sugarcane, the sugar bowl of the Philippines, as it's known, it's also been the site of this intense fascist repression from Marcos era, Marcos Sr. era to now. In the 80s, the Marcos experienced Negros experienced a famine that forced people to be more impoverished, be you know, experience hunger to great degrees in the final days of the Marcos dictatorship. And in that, they were resisting and trying to assert for their rights as people. But, just a year before, or actually just half a year before Marcos was ousted as the president in February 1986, he also committed his own Escalante massacre that resulted in anywhere between 20 to 30 farmers that were killed, and many, many more wounded. And so, this violence in Negros is not new, given, again, the large sources of wealth on the lands of Negros. This also means that state violence is not new, and Marcos Sr. really laid the groundwork for that violence during martial law and his dictatorship.
All right, we have another question for the families. What does the pursuit of justice look like?
I can go ahead and answer that question. My name is Marianne Kusan again. I'm the wife of Lyle. I think ever since we arrived here, needing to go through all of the different paperwork and bureaucracy to even try to retrieve their body, I think for me, I would like no other family to have to go through what we went through. When we asked the lead investigator on the ground, who works with the PNP, the Philippine National Police, what's the status of their investigation, he couldn't determine what status he had or what evidence he even had. When I asked for my husband's passport, he couldn't tell me where it was, and he said it was in the pile of all the stuff that has been gathered. So I think it's very unjust how they treat those who have died, especially the Negros 19. And I think our pursuit of justice would really be an independent investigation, allowing those from the different organizations that we are a part of to do a thorough investigation, a fact-finding mission without any harm caused to them, and to be able to put together what actually happened. We know nothing will bring back our loved ones. They were killed by the AFP. But for us, justice is that this doesn't happen to another family and that this doesn't happen to another farmer in Negros. and that those who want to till land are able to till land. Those who are wanting to live off the land in Negros are able to live off the land in Negros, and that they get fair wages for what they're doing. I think the PNP and the AFP should answer to the families. I think they haven't reached out to any of us to actually say what happened, and I think justice would be, yeah, a very clean, independent investigation that actually tells us what happened on April 19th.
Hi, this is PJ, sibling of Kai. To add to what Marianne was saying, that is the goal of my family as well, of me. But to also add, we are just trying to get home to the US as quick as possible. Yet we are faced with incredible barriers, including and especially barriers put up by the US Embassy in the bureaucracy of filling out paperwork. And so we are trying to expedite things as quickly and as fastly as possible because all we want to do is return home, but we are faced with many barriers.
I also would like to add, I think on the side of those of us here in the United States, and those of us that have been continuing the work that Lyle was taking part of in advocacy and the ceasing of military aid to the Philippines. Just last week, the U.S. committed another $200 million in foreign military financing to the AFP in the wake of the massacre. And I think, part of the fight for justice for us now looks like continuing our fight to pass the Philippine Human Rights Act, but also to find ways to stop any more foreign military financing our tax dollars from going to the killings in the Philippines, to the fascist violence that the AFP is enacting, to the counterinsurgency programs that the U.S. Is training Filipino military personnel on. And so, we will carry the names of Lyle and Kai and the Negros 19 as we conduct advocacy efforts on U.S. legislators, and show them that the victims of the state have faces, have names, have rich lives and stories. That people have rich lives and stories, and these are the victims, and this is where our tax dollars are going. And so, on our part, that will be a key direction that we will be pursuing for justice for the Negros 19.
Incredible. Thank you so much to our speakers today from all across the US and from the Philippines as well. So really appreciate folks' time. I don't want to leave it here, I think want to really continue the call for folks to mobilize and take action that some of the speakers have touched upon today. And so if we can get the slides back up, I can round us out, really round out the press conference and sharing ways that people can contribute. Awesome. Yeah, so our first call to action is to disseminate and share very widely to sign this petition that's really calling for the U.S. State Department and U.S. Embassy to support us in our call, support Kai, Lyle, and the rest of the Negros 19's families, and calling for the justice following the massacre. So what we're really calling for is to support the families in a safe return home, and to also support in truly independent investigations into what transpired on April 19th and 20th, so that we can bring to light the truth of what happened, and also honor the lives that were taken. So please sign this petition. Thank you to who linked it in the chat. There's a QR code here as well. We also have a second petition, which is really honing in on the demand for Marcos Jr. to not receive a seat on the UN Security Council, right? Knowing that Bongbong Marcos Jr. is really the person that approved and is allowing these massacres against the people to happen, and is really continuing the legacy of Rodrigo Duterte, the previous president, and even his father during martial law, who has committed atrocious human rights violations against the people. So we're really trying to get thousands to sign, especially this week as as Marcos is here in the US visiting in New York in his vying for this seat. All right. And additionally, we want to invite every single person to participate alongside us, participate with Buy-in USA in our week of action for grassroots migrants in the US to respond to the UN's International Migration Review Forum. So linked here is a really comprehensive site that goes through what the International Migration Review Forum is, how Marcos is participating, and why migrant workers need to stand up and fight and make our voices heard, right? And so there are various different ways. There's a migrant workers declaration that can be signed on to. There are mobilizations in New York City as well. So actually today there will be a mobilization rally at the UN and a march to the Philippine consulate. There's also the National Day of Mourning and Rage for the Negros 19, which many organizations are putting on mobilizations in their local areas today. And so, for example, in Seattle, Washington, we have a mobilization at 12 p.m. today to mobilize to the consulate and ensure that they hear our demands for justice for Kai, for Lyle, and the rest of the Negros 19. And also the call to really support our migrant kababayan here who are facing the brunt of the economic crisis, are facing low wages, etc. So yeah, really encourage everyone to hop onto this website to see all the plethora of opportunities to support the families and mobilize this week. Okay, and lastly, let's really come together to support the families, right? Not only are they experiencing the bureaucracy in the Philippines and trying to bring our friends home here to the US, and also the emotional toll of telling their stories, right? But they're also experiencing the financial burden as well. So really asking for folks to donate to the families to support and all the funeral costs, among other things, right? And I'll pass it to Alex to close us out with our calls and demands here.
Thank you so much again to all of our speakers and all of the press who have joined us today to hear about what happened and to hopefully amplify the stories as we call for justice. So I just want to end us out with some calls today. Justice for Lyle, Kai, RJ, Alyssa, Mao, and Errol. Justice for the Negros 19. Defend Negros Island. Military out of the countryside. AFP, PNP, Palayasin. Stop funding war crimes with our tax dollars. End all U.S. aid to the Philippines. Abolish the NTF-LCAC. Scrap the NAPUPD and Memorandum 32. Marcos Taksil, no UN platform for fascists. Thank you.